CSANT Podcast.
Alright guys, welcome to the Dragon's Nest here today. Today we're going to be interviewing Mr. Screeton from CSA New Tech. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. Glad to be here, guys.
Alright. We're just going to ask you a few questions about your personal life, a little bit of your school life, a little bit of everything.
Awesome.
We're going to start off with a simple question. What's your favorite color?
Ooh, tough question. Tough one to start. Probably my favorite color is just I like blue. Normally lighter shades of blue.
Okay.
So, like the sky blue. So,
Sky blue.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite color.
What's your opinion on ocean blue?
Ocean blue. Does that have more green in it, would you say?
Like more depth.
More depth,
almost.
like a darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I just like blue in general, but
yeah.
I would say the lighter shades are kind of my thing.
Okay. Cool. So what's your favorite food?
Ooh, you guys are asking the tough questions. Favorite food, probably, I'm a big steak guy. My favorite meal in general is just steak, mashed potatoes.
All right.
That's my favorite meal.
How do you like your steak cooked?
I mean, medium rare, right?
Really?
No, not medium rare. I'm just kidding. No, medium rare, medium, probably, depending on the cut. If I'm gonna, get a fillet, I'll probably have it medium rare. But if I'm getting a sirloin, I'll get it medium.
All right. What's your opinion on well done steaks?
You're wrong if you like well done steaks.
So
That's
I'm
all I have to
wrong
say.
then.
Yeah, you're wrong. You can't have that opinion. Sorry.
My bad. My bad.
Kidding. I'm kidding. You can do whatever you want.
All right. So let's get into a more in-depth question.
All right.
We just removed masks from school.
Yeah.
Obviously, Corona is still a thing.
Right.
We've still got more variants popping up.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on us dropping the masks?
I think, Gavin, there's good and bad to every situation, right?
Yeah.
And throughout the pandemic, I wouldn't want to be in a leadership role because, you're going to get pushback on any decision that you make. And just like the mask, there's good and bad to this decision that we're not wearing them, right? And there's going to be good and bad if they decided to keep the masks, right? So, I guess I'll leave it at that. I think, and it's just up to who you are, right? And it's your choice in the matter. So, it's kind of a thing at this point where it's been 2 years, right, where we've had these masks on, and I was telling some facilitators the other day that it feels like I don't have my mask on. It feels like I'm breaking a rule.
Yeah,
right?
it feels wrong.
It's almost, it feels like wrong now to not have a mask on. So, that's kind of where I'm at on it. It's been a long 2 years of wearing them in school, and I'm happy to see people smile, but I acknowledge
it feels uncomfortable.
It feels uncomfortable, and I acknowledge the risks that we're taking by not having them on. So I think there's still that risk factor that we all are taking, right?
Do you think that at some point we will go back to masks?
I don't know. I think the whole situation has changed so much.
Yeah. Right.
There's been so many ups and downs. Whether that continue, I guess, I don't know. I think it could happen. I'm not going to say it won't happen, but
it's very possible.
Again, it's a possibility. If we start to see a rise in cases again, it could happen again. So.
All right. Well, now we'll go back into a more mellowed out question. What do you think about the school lunch here?
School lunch, I'm a fan.
Yeah?
I mean,
what's your favorite thing we got?
I mean, it's hard not to be like chicken nuggets.
Right.
It's just classic go-to school lunch,
Yeah.
It's tough to beat. I don't know.
Is there any particular seasonal meal that you look forward to?
The Thanksgiving dinner is awesome that they always give us.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun time to celebrate with everybody. So I really enjoy the Thanksgiving meal. Also, the salads. Every once in a while, getting salad. Can't beat it.
All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and break the ice on this next question.
All right.
One thing that some people know, but maybe not everybody, you've actually got a kid on the way.
I do.
How do you feel about that?
It's a wild feeling. It's pretty crazy. You know, I want to say that, like, you know, I am prepared, but, like, I don't think anyone can actually be prepared for that situation.
Right.
So, like, it's like all the feelings in one. Like, I'm extremely excited. Couldn't be happier. Like, and that side of it's awesome, but, like, the nervousness and the anxiety of actually being a dad and, like, being responsible for another human is, you know, there's also that feeling too.
Yeah,
so
it's scary.
It is. So, like, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, you're happy, you know, and
but you're also
you feel great,
scared out of your mind.
Like, there's definitely that anxiety piece right there, man.
Yeah,
that's for sure. That's for sure.
So, do you know if you're having a boy or a girl yet?
Having a boy.
All right.
Gonna have a son. Yep.
Would you prefer a boy over a girl?
I honestly didn't have any expectations going into it. Like, I'm happy either way.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys already have the room set up for him?
We started some stuff.
Yeah.
We still have to paint. We've been looking at furniture like crib and you know, rocking chair and stuff like that. We don't have it yet, but we've been looking. So we're in the process still, I would say.
So one thing that everybody kind of knows you for here is your baby face.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry. I had to talk about it.
Come on now.
Do you think that that's going to go well with your kid?
I don't know. We'll see.
Do you normally get along with babies?
Yeah. I mean, I have nieces and nephews, so yeah, get along with them fine.
How old are they?
So my niece is, let's see here. Let me count the months. So funny thing, my niece was born in July.
Okay.
And my son is due in July. So they're almost going to be exactly a year apart.
Wow.
So let's see, however many months July is from February, that's how old my niece is. And then my nephew, my sister's, that's the oldest of my nieces and nephew, is 3.
Okay.
And I guess he turns 3 in March. He's not 3 yet. Turns 3 in March. And then my other niece, my sister's youngest, is she's just over a year.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. I think we're going to go ahead and go into a pretty serious topic here. A lot of the students here at CSA go through a lot of parental issues at home. Obviously, you've probably seen some of the outputs of some of that and what some of the kids deal with here. Do you have any advice for anybody that might be going through some parental stuff at home?
You know, I think, I wouldn't call this advice at all, but I think it's just important to know that, you know, we have a lot of adults here in this building, and whatever you're dealing with outside of this building, I know for a fact that every single one of these facilitators and every single one of the staff is here for all of you guys, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you're going through and whatever we can help you with, we're all going to be here for you. We'll rally around you and we'll help you in any way that we can. And that's I guess the main thing is that, you know, if there's something you're struggling with or dealing with, tell us.
Right.
Because
that's what makes CSA one of the coolest schools.
And we're here for you. And that's, you know, we want to have that connection with you. We want to have that relationship with you, and we want to be able to help you how we can.
Right.
And like you said, CSA is great because, you know, the relationships that we can build here, and, you know, how we care for one another. So I think that's kind of my take on it. It's just, you know, we're here for you. If you're struggling, let us know, and we'll help you however we can.
Cool. So what a lot of people don't know whenever they come into this school is that we've actually got Centerstone support here.
Right.
His name's Damon Hunter.
Right.
He's obviously free for anybody to talk to at any time. It's completely free of charge.
Right.
I would love to see if some people could break that barrier with him. I know I personally go through some home troubles, and talking to someone is one of the most powerful things.
Right. Definitely.
Having someone to listen to is so big.
Right. Definitely.
And then to have someone at school, it makes it so much better.
Right.
So yeah, I encourage everyone that's listening to this, go talk to Damon Hunter at CSA. He really does help all of us out.
Right. It's awesome.
Up next, we're going to talk about your explorations in life.
Okay.
Where have you been outside of Indiana?
I've been to a lot of places. So those of you that don't know a little bit about my background, I played college baseball, and I played, travel baseball growing up, and that took me all across the country. I've been as far as, out west in Arizona and California for my baseball career, and then all the way to the East Coast. So it's taken me, across the country in different ways. So I'm really, really thankful for that. I've actually never been outside of the United States.
Really?
No, I have not. So probably one of my favorite places to vacation to, though, that I've been is my family grew up going to Hilton Head, South Carolina. It's just an island off of the coast of South Carolina, and it's just kind of small and quaint. Definitely a vacation beach town, touristy town.
Right.
But it's one of my favorite places to go. And actually, my wife and I are going over spring break to Hilton Head. So
nice.
Yep, that's kind of where I grew up going, and that's probably one of my favorite places to vacation to. So
nice.
That's just I love going out west. I have one of my best friends from college lives in Denver, Colorado. So going to Colorado is just awesome. I love Denver. Visiting Arizona was awesome. I had a couple baseball tournaments out there in college, so going out to Arizona was fantastic. All those places combined are probably my favorite. So those are my top three.
Cool.
Yep.
So you said you've never been outside of the U.S.
I haven't.
If there's any place that you could go without having to worry about, the cost and expenses and stuff, where would you decide to go?
Probably like one of my dream vacations, being social studies teacher, being the wannabe historian that I am.
Right.
I think one of the most profound things that I would like to do is I would love to go on a Holocaust tour.
Really?
Across Europe, and just I've seen multiple different people go on a Holocaust trip, and I would love to do something like that because it just seems really moving, and it seems like something that I would take away a lot from, just being having the respect for history that I do, and that history is kind of one of my favorite parts to talk about and to study. So just being able to do that would be awesome.
Is there any specific camps that you'd like to visit?
I mean, just the big ones like Auschwitz and Birkenau, and So I just think the big ones, would probably be the best.
So while we're on the topic of history, what's your favorite thing, obviously other than the Holocaust, to learn about, talk about?
That's tough, man. There's so much good stuff. So I guess World War II, Holocaust, is probably my top one that got me interested in the topic.
Yeah.
But really, just like really the civil rights movement, and just even just the struggles of different people groups in America throughout history. I really like looking into specific African American history that dates back to from the end of the Civil War all the way into today. So just like I really like civil rights studies. Anything that has to do with that is probably my the second thing that I think is important to know about and learn about and talk about. So that's probably my second part, I would say.
All right. Have you ever heard of Nathan Hale's Treacherous Tales?
Sounds familiar. I don't know specifically if I have.
So it's actually a comic book
Yeah.
that talks about different, historical events.
Right.
It's got, what was his name? Nathan Hale as one of the main characters.
Right.
They talk about Nathan Hale's story, the Alamo.
Awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
I would really like it if we could get some of those books into our library.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And that's I obviously I don't run the library, but who does? So Miss Buckler does, and that might be something that you could maybe reach out to Miss Buckler about.
Right, and hopefully if she's listening to this,
Right.
again,
that's your plug right there. That's your plug.
It's Nathan Hale's Treacherous Tales. So yeah, and to anybody that's listening outside of CSA, it's a great book series. I'd really recommend reading it.
Right, that's awesome.
So obviously, one of the things that we talk about in school is the Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talk about the Oregon Trail whenever we're fairly young, maybe 4th grade. But we never really realize how gruesome it really was until high school.
Right.
We talk about how in fourth grade, we talked about how, it was just a movement for the gold rush and stuff, and it was a move out west.
Out west, right.
Whereas in high school, we talk more about how it was a serious struggle. Like,
right.
People were living day to day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there anything that you think we learned about whenever we were fairly young that was actually a lot worse than they actually taught us to be?
Yeah, I think probably just the way they teach it at a younger age.
Yeah.
I don't want to say sugarcoats it, but probably just like
lightens it up
a little bit. But it was westward expansion was gruesome and tough, and life was not easy for people that first moved to the west and settled the west, and there's a lot that goes into that though too. Like not only did they struggle based on just like the terrain and leaving home and not having a lot and things like that. Not only was just the movement west a struggle, but like having to, I don't want to say settle the West, but there was encounters with Native Americans, and that was a struggle. I think is important to highlight on both sides, right? Like Native Americans were there, and that was their land, right? So like not being able to see that side and that perspective is something that's not always covered at younger ages, but is something that's covered and focused on, I think, as you get older. So it's important to see both sides of the westward expansion story, right? So, and get multiple perspectives when talking about westward expansion, because that Native American piece is so important to movement westward, right? And their story is just as important as ours, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So as we're getting off the topic of history, I sit here and I see that you're pretty glossed out. You've got some good tech on you.
My Apple Watch.
Your Apple Watch, yeah. What series is that?
I think series 3.
Series 3?
It was a gift, so
Okay.
I don't even remember.
All right.
Yeah.
So how into all this tech stuff are you?
I would just say the basics. Like, I have my phone. I know I have my Mac at home and my Apple Watch and stuff like that. But I'm not too knowledgeable more than just the basic stuff, man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any knowledge on surround sound or anything like that?
Honestly, not really. Not really, man. Yeah, I'm pretty basic, like I said. I just have my normal TV at home. Like I don't have anything hooked up. No speakers or anything. So
I know a lot of people, whenever they go to the movie theater, a lot of people say that there's no difference between regular movies and IMAX movies.
Ooh.
Do you feel the same way about that?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you the last time I've been to an IMAX movie.
Really?
But I feel like when I was young, at least,
Yeah.
it's probably been a while since I've been to one, honestly. But at least when I was younger, I feel like there was a difference.
Yeah.
And that's speaking off of maybe going to 1 or 2 IMAX movies in my life.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is.
There is a difference.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do you feel like?
I feel like there's a difference, but to people who don't know much about the technology, surround sound spectrum, I could see how someone could think that there's no difference to it.
Right.
A lot of things that we do in AV Club is, we're focusing on every single decibel of sound.
Right.
And, you tweak things up a little bit. You got to have those sensitive ears
to be able to hear the difference.
Be able to hear every little thing.
I get it, man. Yeah.
So, getting off of that topic, I guess we'll move on to our last and final topic.
All right.
Obviously, CSA got our new mascot, the CSA Dragons.
Right. Yeah.
That's why we are calling this podcast the CSA Dragon Nest.
It's awesome.
What is your opinion on the Dragons?
I think it's awesome. I think it's something, only being here for the short time that I have, I know a little bit of background about, it's been brought up, a mascot's been brought up a few different times, and kind of shot down just because they didn't feel like, as a whole, that it represented what we are.
Right.
And I think the students that brought forward the dragon idea last year, they did their research, and they created a really, really awesome design and reason why this would represent what we do here. And I think it does what it does that. It represents us very well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my opinion on it. I love the dragon. It's awesome.
All right. Before we get off of here, I'd just like to share, I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
Whenever we were doing the whole dragon design thing,
right,
one of the things that they brought up was if there's any different changes to the dragon itself that you would like, go ahead and write them down in this Google form and fill it out.
Right.
One of the things that I thought would have been awesome is, since we're CSA New Tech, if we had a tech dragon. What do you think on that?
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. I wouldn't shoot it down or anything, but I don't know. I like that idea, but I think I think our very own Miss Stamper created the logo that we have, and I think it's cool either way. It's kind of my piece.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it was great talking to you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
No problem.
I'm glad to be here.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.